All right, everyone. So I wanted to talk about a tournament that we actually got in Raid Shadow Legends. You guys will see it in the right-hand section of the screen right here, and that is the Champion Chase Tournament. I wanted to tell you guys some information about this tournament. First of all, you do not want to summon right now in Raid Shadow Legends. Now, these Champion Chase tournaments do involve summoning. You can end up getting points to complete these tournaments by summoning, but you are definitely still going to want to save your shards, and I'll talk about a little bit of the reasoning why. The other thing that I wanted to do is tell you guys a bit of a secret when it comes to tournaments in Raid Shadow Legends. Now, it's not 100% confirmed. I don't think Polarium is going to actually openly end up saying this, but it's definitely something that I have observed, and it's going to make you not want to summon for this tournament even more, knowing what this information is going to be. So let's get into it. Now, there's a lot of things that I want to talk about that's going on right now. Definitely a lot of it involving this tournament. But first of all, I did notice that we didn't get a notice for this tournament. Maybe I just missed it, but normally we end up getting something like a one-day notice or a half-a-day notice. I know for this Dragon tournament, when it ended up coming out, we got, I think it was a 16-hour notice before the actual tournament started, which is usually pretty nice because it gives us at least a little bit of time and preparation. You know, for tournaments like the Dragon tournament that use energy, what you can do is you can save your daily energy refills up until a few minutes before the daily reset. You don't have to claim these right away. As long as you claim them before the daily reset, same with the weekly stuff, as long as you claim these before the actual weekly quests complete, you can end up kind of min-maxing your resources a little bit to make sure that you can get as much efficiency for them for certain events and tournaments as possible. Now, unfortunately, I did not end up noticing this for the Champion Chase tournament, which actually kind of sucks. And the reason why I say that is because I recently actually ended up doing my Harvest Track fusion. Those of you guys who have been working on the fusion, I think there are still a couple of days left. So actually good news, if you guys still haven't done it, you'll be able to get a little bit of credit for this Champion Chase tournament, because when it comes to Champion Chase tournaments, you do not only end up getting points for summoning, but you actually end up getting points no matter how you end up getting champions. Very important note about this tournament. So to earn tournament points, all you have to do is get champions in any of the following ways. Summon them from Shards of the Portal. That's the obvious one, of course. You can get any kind of champions. The commons and uncommons will only end up giving you 1 point. Rares will give you 10 points, and of course, the primary method how you're going to end up getting points for these Champion Chase tournaments is going to end up being from your epics and from your legendaries, and also importantly as well, you get a whole bunch of extra points if you decide to get void champions as well. So the basic one is summon them from Shards of the Portal, fuse them at the portal. Now, this is why I say that it was a bit unfortunate that we didn't actually have a notice for this Champion Chase tournament, is because if you ended up saving on all your resources to fuse your Harvest Track, what you could have done is you could have actually, I know there was 3 epics that you can fuse, so you could have saved the rares to fuse those 3 epics. That would have given you 250 points each for a total of 750 points, and then you could have combined your 4 epics to fuse your actual Harvest Track, which would have given you another 500 points. So you're looking at, if you have still saved all your ingredients for Harvest Track, you're looking at an extra 1250 or so points that you could add to this Champion Chase tournament. So that's why I say it's a bit unfortunate. I'm a little bit disappointed myself. I feel like this is a little bit of a cheese move doing this. I honestly had a feeling that they were going to do this, but I told myself this is why another reason I end up saving. I wait a lot of the times to complete events that can be completed on the last day. I usually wait until the last day. Things like summon events or things that usually don't take a lot of time, they just take a lot of resources, like artifact enhancement events. It doesn't actually end up taking a whole bunch of time in order to get your artifacts to level 16. It just takes a lot of time to save up the resources. So a lot of the times, because of reasons like this random Champion Chase tournament that we have that we didn't really have any notice for, if I ended up saving my Harvest Track materials, I could have gotten some extra points for that, gotten some goodies for free, but unfortunately, I decided not to do that. I didn't want to take any risks, and now I'm going to miss out on some free goodies because of that. Now, that's just one little side note as to this tournament kind of being a bit unfortunate, but there are a couple of other ones as well. Now, one note that I wanted to mention is you definitely do not want to summon right now. if you take a look at the rewards from this Champion Chase tournament, seems cool. You do get a legendary tome for 6,000 points, but you guys have to keep in mind that Champion Chase tournaments, getting points is not easy. It's not like a champion training event or a champion training tournament. Champion Chase means that you have to get your points through summoning. So in order to get the legendary tome, you are looking at having to summon at 250 points per epic. That is a total of 24 epics. Now, of course, you still get points for legendaries, but because the drop rate of legendaries is so low, let's just take a look at epics right now. So you need 24 epics on average. That's not counting the rares, any commons, uncommons, or anything else. We're just going to look at the epics. So 24 epics, and if you take a look, we do not have double drop chances or double rates for any kind of shards. There's no other events going on. So 24 epics at a chance of 8% each. That means that you need to summon roughly 12 to 13 ancient shards in order to get one epic. You need 24. As you can see, if you end up doing the math, if you want to end up completing this event, if you don't get lucky and you don't get any legendaries, if you don't count the point from rares, you're looking at about 300 ancient shards. So if you throw in some extra points for the rares, maybe you get lucky, get a legendary or two, you're still looking at around 200 or so ancient shards. So 200 or so ancient shards in order to end up getting these rewards. You know, it seems good at a first glance, seems decent. You got your legendary tome, you got a 5-star chicken, an epic skill book, an XP boost, couple rare books, a little bit of energy, a little bit of silver, and of course the typical relentless gear sets at the top as well. But for an average of about 200 ancient shards with no double rate events going on, with no other summoning events going on, no summon rush, nothing else happening in the game right now except for this Champion Chase tournament, it's definitely not going to be worth it. It's going to be 100% a pass. Unless you guys just really don't care and you are a massive hyper whale and you have tons of money and money is no object to you in this game, this is not going to be a very big event in terms of resource management. You are going to get way more out of your shards and your resources by saving them for a later event. Now, I always advocate for the double rates event. We just had one for ancient shards, so it could be a very long time before we have one again. So if you guys don't like saving up your shards for a very long period of time, you might want to pick something else, but I always still like to save up for those. That's the ones that I do. As you guys can see, I am back up to 25 ancient shards from the 200 that I summoned for the last double rates event, but this is definitely not going to be one of the better times to summon. I would absolutely wait. Now, the other thing that I wanted to mention about this tournament and all tournaments in general, which actually makes it even worse to summon now, is a little bit of a secret that, of course, Plarium is not going to be very open about. So I wanted to tell you guys, it's an observation that I have made. I've confirmed this with a few friends of mine and other people who play the game, and it's a little bit of a scummy thing, I guess you could say, just kind of how tournaments work in general, which is actually probably going to make it even worse on why you don't want to participate in this tournament. But if you guys take a look at these rewards right here, of course, what I'm about to tell you doesn't really have to do with the right-hand rewards here, which usually are going to end up being better in most cases in many tournaments, but sometimes that's not the case. This is going to have to do with the actual competition aspect of tournaments. So you'll notice that you're placed in a group usually with 50 players, and of course, there's going to be rewards for the people who end up getting the most points. So it really is, in a way, a lot of these tournaments, especially the Champion Chase ones, it's kind of like a whale wars. You know, you're competing against other people to use resources, spend money, get more points, and end up getting the higher prizes. Now, if you have people in your bracket who are more competitive and are willing to spend more money, it's going to mean that it's going to be more difficult for you to end up getting the same rewards as other people, because there are going to be other people in another bracket that aren't willing to spend as much money, and they're going to be getting the same top rewards without having to spend as much money. So if you're in direct competition with somebody who spends a lot of money, well, it's going to be more difficult for you to end up getting these rewards. Now, not all tournament reward brackets are the same. This I know for a fact. They do have these, I guess you could say, beginner brackets, intermediate brackets, advanced brackets, but there is a point where there's kind of an algorithm in a way that the game actually uses to determine, very similar to how they end up pricing a lot of the packs in the game. You guys will probably notice that a lot of the times you'll see the same pack Different people get the same stuff, different prices change, they go up, they go down, weird things happen. A lot of people think it's very shady and strange, and that's just kind of the way that Plarium does it, being owned by a multi-billion-dollar casino manufacturing company. You know, this is just kind of the way that they chose to monetize the game. I can't personally say whether it works very well or whether it doesn't compared to other monetization strategies, because obviously I'm not in charge of a multi-billion-dollar casino manufacturing company, but they do a very similar thing when it comes to the tournaments as well. And what I mean by that is, if you end up placing really highly in tournament brackets, what's going to happen is the next time tournaments end up running, you are going to be placed with the same people that also placed really high in tournament brackets. And you can see how what this does is, when there are more high spenders in the tournament brackets that other high spenders are in, it's going to encourage them to spend even more in order to end up getting those top prizes. So what they can do with the tournament placings is they can keep the low spenders with other low spenders, because they know that they're not going to spend a lot either way in order to get the top prizes. And then if you place really highly in previous tournament brackets, they can use that information to then in the future place you in tournament brackets with other high spenders, so that you compete more with them, spend more money to end up getting those top prizes. So essentially what I'm trying to say here is, if you guys end up spending a lot and going for this Champion Chase tournament, which honestly isn't really that great to begin with, then what that could mean is, when there's a more important tournament in the future, now because you ended up spending a lot of money on this Champion Chase tournament, or a lot of resources to participate in it, now you're going to make another more desirable tournament more difficult for you in order to get those top prizes, because you placed really highly in this one. Now, like I said, I've said this I think 2 or 3 times in this video, but very importantly, I'll say it once again, this is not confirmed. It could work a little bit differently than how I presented this information in the video. Obviously, this is not something that Plarium is just going to throw out there as open information, because you could see how some people might not necessarily take this the right way. It might cause some problems, but this is definitely a general observation that myself, as well as many other people, have noticed when it comes to the tournaments in Raid Shadow Legends. So definitely something you want to be a little bit wary of, and you might not want to go too crazy participating in some of the tournaments that don't really have the most desirable prizes like this one. So thought I would put this out there, give you guys some information, give you guys some advice about the stuff that's going on in the game right now, and hopefully you guys are able to use this information to help you guys out. So with that being said, that is going to be it for the video today. Thank you guys everyone for watching. Really hope that you guys enjoyed it and that it did help out. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel. We are getting really close to 20,000 once again, so thank you so much everyone. Really do appreciate it. And of course, if you have a quick second, you want to help out, tossing a like on the video means more than you can even imagine. And if you're interested in more Raid Shadow Legends videos, guides, tutorials, and all that fun stuff, should be popping up on the screen right about now, so feel free to check it out. If not, until next time, have a fantastic day everyone, and this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.